So I'm honored to be here. Let me begin by reading a little something to you. 6 humans trapped by happenstance in a dark and bitter cold. Each possessed a stick of wood, or so the story's told. Their dying fire in need of logs, but the first one held hers back. For of the faces around the fire, she noticed one was black. The next one looked across the way, saw one not of his church, and could not bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. The third one sat in tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store, and keeping all that he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight, for he saw in his stick of wood a chance to spite the white. And the last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain. Giving just to those who gave was how he played the game. Their sticks held tight in death's steel hands was proof enough of sin. They died not from the cold without. They died from the cold within. Good evening. As we begin today to think about celebrating a community that cares, creating, or as I said on Facebook last night, creating, because I spelled it wrong, creating a community that cares. I'm honored, one, to be here. I'm honored more that you are here. Because as we reflect tonight and think about what it is that we as individuals and we as a community can do to curb the tide of ugliness that we see in our world, then I want us to understand that when we walk outside of the 4 walls of this building, we will be responsible for some action. Because I didn't come today just to say bullying's bad. I didn't come to say that the things that we see in our community are wrong. I came to say today that we have got to do something. And so I hope you didn't come just to hear me. I hope you came with a plan. I hope you came with a heart that is open to take care of each other. Because that, my friends, is what it's all about, because I'm a parent. When I moved to this community 11 years ago, I moved from Lewisburg, where I had lived for just a few months. But what brought me to this region, because I know, come on, let's just be real. I'm a real talker tonight, that's all right with y'all. I'm just going to be me. I got a bunch of degrees and I can put together a whole bunch of words, and I'm just not gonna. I'm going to talk like I talk. I'm going to be me. Don't let the suit fool you. I moved to this region in the fall of 2001. I started working at a local university, and one of my very first days on the job, my former boss, brought me a newspaper article that came out 4 or 5 months before. The newspaper article was I want to say it was the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, wasn't sure, I can't remember at this point. But interestingly enough, it talked about the little town that I had just moved my family. And the title of the article says, "As diversity sweeps the nation, one placid town remains unchanged." I'm like, okay. And in it, I'm reading the borough manager was saying, we didn't have any problem until those people moved here. That intrigued me, because I wanted to know who were those people. And as I began to read a little further, he identified those people, and I was one of those people. I told my boss, you could have showed me this at the interview. Before I moved to the Central Susquehanna Valley. But suffice it to say, I found a home here, despite. Because I do believe that there are a bunch of caring folks. I do believe that there are people who are concerned about each other. And what we're trying to do, we're not suggesting when we say that we're creating a community that cares, that there aren't caring folks here. The reality is that's why we're here. Because we know there are folks who care right here. But we need to care a little bit more. We need to turn caring into action.